The Peterbot vs Pollo off spawn has gotten so insane, both players now accusing each other of cheating, saying they're using macros. I'm going to explain what macros are, show you guys all the clips so you can decide whether you think they're cheating, and I'll give my final opinion on whether I think they're cheating and whether Fortnite will do something about this. I also want to give an update on what happened yesterday with Clicks losing his money to an exploiter and what Fortnite has done about it. There's a lot to talk about. Let's jump into it. Yes, this is going to be my third video in a row talking about Pete versus Pollo off spawn, but don't pretend like you don't love it. I didn't even plan to make this video, but we have more than just an off spawn record. We now have accusations of cheating being thrown around. I wasn't taking this too serious. I said I wasn't really going to talk about it in the video, but I want to only because there's a lot of misinformation going around and this does actually have a long-term effect on these players. So let's go over what's happening. Why is Pete saying Pollo cheats? Why is Pollo saying Pete cheats? Why are they macroing? And what even is macroing? So there seems to be a lot of confusion. So the reason why this started was I was hosting a massive solo tournament with some of the best players in the world. Don't worry, I'm cooking up an entire video on that in the channel in a few days. Keep an eye out. It is going to be a banger. But we had Pete versus Pollo going down to Demon's Domain in solos, not trios. Now, I'm going to show you what happened game one and then show you why Peterbot is calling Pollo a cheater. So let's roll the clip. This is how it went down in game one of Pete versus Pollo. We've got about 6 teams here. If either of them make it out, it's going to be crazy. Pete has the best drop by far, but loses the gun. There was a gun right there on the floor. Pollo grabs it. He even has the time to dance on him. This means more than just my tournament right now. This is taking place the day after we just had Pollo versus Pete in the eval finals. Pollo wins the gun again off of Pete. Now, straight after this clip, Peterbot came to my Twitch chat, started talking smack on Pollo, accusing him of macroing him, and then went on to Twitter to post this image saying, guess who got the gun? And obviously, if you see just this photo, you're not going to expect that Pollo got the gun first, but if you watch the video, you can see Pete lands, but Pollo lands right after him just as he opens the chest and grabs the loot. Now, there's a few mechanics I want to talk about with how loot works with chests before I talk about what a macro is. So, guns always drop out of the left side of the chest when you're facing the chest. So this is very, very important for making sure that you get the gun and not the other pieces of loot. Because if you're standing there and you're spam scroll wheel pickupping, which all these pros are doing, or macroing, you're going to want to try to be on the left side of the chest to make sure you get the gun and not the ammo or the builds that come out, or if it's the rare chest, which a lot of them are dropping on in this instance, which has even more loot in it. So Pollo positions himself on the left side of the chest, giving him the best chance to get the gun as well. And by the time he gets down, it's basically just a scroll wheel off. Now, Pollo did respond to Peterbot's tweet saying, everyone knows what you're on, stop acting innocent, implying that Peterbot is also macroing because Peterbot has been accused of macros a lot in the past. Then Peterbot replies with a photo just showing of Pollo being outdropped. Pollo responds with a photo showing him outdropping Peterbot, and it's just them going back and forth. Now, I need to point out as well, people who think this is super serious, Pete and Pollo do not hate each other. They're not trying to get each other banned. They are extremely good friends. They live together right now. So even though they're going at it on spawn and they're creating a bunch of great content and drama, honestly, I'm loving it. I don't want to ruin it for the people who do think it's super serious. They care about locking down the drop. And when it comes to a tournament, you know, friends go second and you got to win the tournament, but they aren't trying to actually get each other banned. So let's talk about macroing. What is a macro? Macro is basically when you press one input, so you press like a key on your keyboard and it creates multiple outputs. What I mean by that is you can set it up so you can press like the letter H and you can make it so that it like pretty much does your pickup button a million times so fast. It's inhumanly quick. It's even quicker than a scroll wheel. Now, you can see why that would be advantageous for getting the loot. And I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of pros who definitely macro. I'm not going to pretend they don't. You can build macros with pretty much every single piece of mainstream keyboard software. Like if you have a Razer keyboard, Wu-Ting, SteelSeries, any of those keyboards, it's built straight into the software because most people use macros just to make things faster on their computer. They can make it so that, if they want to open up a certain program, go to a certain profile and change a setting, and they do it all the time, you can press one button and it does all of that in a single press. That's why macros are so normal. But in video games, you can use them to cheat basically, and they are against terms of service. But it's just a complete witch hunt where you're never going to find out if people are actually macroing because firstly, it's so easy to do. Secondly, scroll wheel pickup is insanely quick as well. And thirdly, there's no way to know. You just can't tell if someone's doing it. So I do want to review some other footage though, because I want to, defend both players here. That was game number 1. Let's see what happened in game number 2. Pete versus Pollo. Wait a second. We got a few other people coming into the mix though. Pete versus Pollo of game 1. Look at this. Pete versus Pollo. They both got the gun drop. I think Pollo beats him. Does Pollo beat him? Pollo gets the gun first. Pete's going to go down off spawn game 1. Wait, grabs the chest. Round the corner. No, he can't hit the shot. He's throwing down dog trees. Wait, he's going to die. Pete killed himself and killed Pollo. Are you kidding me? Pete just... Bro, he knew he'd lost. He threw down the dog trees to take himself out, but knowing it would take down Pollo. Of course, Pollo would land after Peterbot again and get the gun again. At this point, everyone is accusing Pollo of macroing. Oh my god, he's macroing. Everyone on social media is freaking out. But I do want to show you a clip which looks very, very similar with the roles reversed when it came to trios. Because again, these guys have been dropping against each other in trios and solos now for days. This is what happened when Pollo got down first and then Pete came down a little bit after him. If you can do it, I can do it too. Wait for it. Let's see. Wait. Pollo gets on the chest first. Peterbot runs through. Guns come out. Peterbot comes through. Gets everything. Every piece of loot. Pollo doesn't get any material, any builds, nothing. Peterbot gets the entire chest. It is worth pointing out as well, Pollo came to my Twitch chat after this and said, nah, rookie mistake, I was too far from the chest, pointing out that yes, he got down first, yes, he opened the chest, but he was standing further back, so Peterbot was closer to the loot, so obviously he would get it. And Pollo, just being the humble goat that he is, not making excuses, not calling anyone out. And again, I'm going to play another clip behind me where Peterbot gets down last, but still manages to get all of the weapons out of the chest, even though he's standing on the right side of the chest over other players as well. And I'm just showing these clips to show that there's two sides to this story. I can find clips of Ritual getting the gun when he gets down last, or Acorn getting the gun when he's far away from the chest, or Cold stealing it from someone. It's gonna happen with all of them. The way that picking up in the game works is not always 100% science. Yes, these players could be macroing, maybe one of them isn't and one is. There is no way of knowing, and I don't think Peterbot or Pollo actually hate each other and want to get each other banned. So I wanted to show some clips and show some evidence so you guys can make up your own opinion on what you think is going on. But a lot of people are confused as to what is going on with this spawn fight. They both seem to be having so much fun with it. They're taking it super seriously. And if Pete and Pollo are such good friends and they don't hate each other, then how is this going to go? When is this going to end? Who is going to leave? And I actually heard a very interesting theory today about the fact that we know we are getting a major POI added to the game later this season based on leakers. So we have the Fortress of Solitude, Superman's drop spot, coming out with the Superman update, and that update is set to come out before FNCS. What if this is all just a gigantic troll and an elaborate way for these guys to have fun and mess around, dropping on each other, get some practice, and then one of them is going to leave to go this new POI, assuming it's going to be a solid POI. Now, there are some holes in this logic though. Firstly, I think that this whole situation has, especially for Peterbot, affected his off-spawn legacy. Peterbot has been, held by many to be the best off-spawn fighter. Never drop on him. It's never going to end well. Why would you ever contest him? And coming into a LAN event, you really want that reputation, and now that has been hurt a bit. It is worth pointing out, Peterbot said today that he thinks their drop calc, what they were using to get down first, was bad, so they just had worse drops. He's got a new one now, and in the scrims today, they did very, very well. They actually ended up evening the score out to a 9-6. So Pollo has won 9 games off spawn. Peterbot has now won 6. So again, Pollo still does have the lead. It is also worth pointing out that Pete's team is doing better usually when they make it off spawn. The only game they made it off spawn in the first scrim sessions, they got 1 win and 2 losses. They went on to win the game, absolutely popping off with over 25 kills in pro scrims. So when they make it off spawn, they dominate. Pollo's team is still doing well, but they're also messing around a lot. Pollo managed to build a gigantic Pollo sign at Demon's Domain, claiming the drop spot. So I don't know how seriously they're taking it, but it's an interesting theory about how this could all go in the end, because right now, if it's 6-9, both teams are fully locked in on this. Ages has said that it's his drop spot. He was going Mars Meadows all year. Why would he now leave with the new POI that's at Mars Meadows? He's like, you guys could have kept going where you were going. Crime City is still available. There's other good drops on the map. Just because our drop turned into a really good mythic drop, we're not going to leave. We have a land spot. We're winning the off spawn. We've won more than we've lost. Why would we leave? And I don't really know what this means for both teams now. I really could not tell you how this is going to end. I have no clue. I did also want to give a bit of an update to yesterday's video. I talked about how we had the player using the exploit to stay flying into the sky to beat clicks in that game. He has now been removed from the leaderboards. Whichever side you stood on that one, whether you thought it was an exploit, it was a cheat, he deserved to be banned, or whether he was just using the item in the game and it was Fortnite's fault, he has been removed from the leaderboard. That win goes to clicks, meaning they did win 2 of the 4 eval cup games. So as much as we're focusing on this P versus Pollo off spawn, things are going crazy, it is looking really, really good for clicks right now. He has arguably the best drop on the map, if not the second best drop, while the 2 other best teams on the region are contesting each other. They are fully locked in, they are taking full advantage of the situation, and things are looking really, really good for clicks right now. But in case you were going to try out this, gauntlet item in the game, because they haven't been nerfed, they haven't been fixed, they haven't been vaulted, you can still do this. It could potentially get you banned, so I wouldn't mess around with it. But this is really interesting to see from Fortnite. We now have an item that people are abusing to get free wins that is almost unbeatable. They're announcing the fact that it is against the rules, but they're not doing anything about it. I'm really confused what's going on. I thought we would see some balance changes after the Evaluation Cup, potentially a nerf to the base boost gauntlets or them being vaulted, maybe a nerf to the scan item, because right now that is just ridiculous with how easy it is to use it every 10 seconds infinitely. There's a few things that pros and a lot of the community definitely want change, but Fortnite has done almost no balance changes this season. I wonder if this is going to be the new change going forward. I don't want to see the base boost gauntlets vaulted. I don't want to see the scan item being vaulted. I love unique, fun, exciting items in the season. I always err on the side of balance before vaulting. Try to balance it, they try and balance it again and again, and if it still sucks, if it just doesn't function in the game, then vault it, rather than just, oh, this item doesn't work, get rid of it. These base boost gauntlets are super unique. I think they're awesome. If you tone down the structure damage, they could be a really balanced, fun, iconic item of the season. So I hope they stay, but it is worth pointing out we've seen no balance changes yet, and this is a game-breaking exploit. So I don't know what Fortnite is doing at the moment. If you guys have no idea what I'm talking about with those gauntlets, check out this video on the screen here to get all the information.